Hey guys, as promised, I'm back on Saturday with another video. And today I'm going to be making sliders. So I am trying something new. I have made burgers before, but like not on camera. I usually help my mom and dad. But today I thought I'd make sliders instead. So here I have 1 pound of beef, some spices mixed together, and it is a secret. 1 jalapeno finely chopped, 1/4 of an onion finely chopped, and this is the last thing that is finely chopped. And this is 2 cloves of garlic, and I have some Worcestershire sauce. I don't really know how to pronounce that, so hopefully I'm saying it right. I have some sesame seeds, and I have some cheese. I have 2 pans, some butter to melt, and some bread. So let's get started. So first I'm going to take all the ingredients and I'm going to put it into the beef. So here I'm taking my spices and I'm just going to sprinkle them. So now that that's on, I'm going to put in the garlic. Set that to the side. I'm going to put in the onions. And now I'm going to put in some Worcestershire sauce. And lastly, I'm going to put in the jalapenos. Okay, so I'm going to mix this together, and I'm going to do that by taking all the beef and kind of like pressing it together so that everywhere gets some stuff. It's okay if you make a little bit of a mess. You could always clean it up later. And the reason you put in all the ingredients before mixing it all together is because you don't want to overwork the beef, because then it will become tough, and we don't want tough sliders. So I'm just trying to get everything to be like all over the meat so that it's well seasoned. Okay.
Press so hard.
So I think it's everywhere now. So I'm just going to make it into small little balls, like, so this is too big, so I'm just gonna take,
It needs to be a little bigger than that.
so I'm gonna take some.
Hannah, those balls are too small. Maybe you can make them bigger. Look at the size of your bun.
Okay, so I'm just gonna keep adding some meat until I'm just gonna measure this. I think this is good enough. And then you're just gonna press it down a little bit, like that. And then I'm gonna put it on a plate, and then I'm just gonna repeat that process over and over again until I make 12 sliders. If you don't want sliders, and you want burgers, like a bigger version, you could just make larger balls. I was about to say smaller. And like do the same thing, just press it down. And if you want, you could add different toppings, like mushrooms or bacon or like or pickles even, if like that's what you like. Depending on whatever you like. I don't think lettuce or tomatoes would be a good idea because they will wilt, and I think that it tastes better like when it's fresh, and instead of when it comes out of the oven.
Stop, you're spending too much time on each one. Okay. Okay, Hannah, it seems like you have enough in that plate. Why don't you wash your hands, start the stove, and then put these on to cook, and then you can make your last 4.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to turn on the stove to medium heat, and then I'm just going to put down one of my burgers. And I'm gonna like spread them throughout the pan so that they cook evenly. And the reason I'm not putting olive oil is because of the fat in the burger. So I can only fit 7, which is okay. You could just cook it like in batches. So I'm just gonna
Lower the heat.
Okay.
How many minutes do you have to cook on each side?
So you have to cook it for 2 minutes on each side because you will bake it. So if it's not fully cooked, it'll just finish cooking in the oven.
But Hannah forgot to preheat her pan. So this is probably going to take 3 to 4 minutes on the first side and then 2 minutes on the other side.
So I'm just going to watch the time so that I don't overcook my meat. So I'm now on my last one, which it's going to be a little bit smaller than the others. So those are what the sliders look like. I'm just going to clean up my mess. And then I'm going to put this in the sink and wash my hands one more time.
Use the regular soap.
Okay. So there's no more soap in this one. So I'm just gonna use the other one. You want to make sure that you don't have anything on your hands, so that when you like touch the bread and cheese, it doesn't get infected. So I'm just gonna dry my hands. I'm just gonna wipe down the countertop because there is some Worcestershire sauce And I do have 2 plates, one for the non-cooked patties, and then sliders, and then one for the cooked sliders. So, it's been 2 minutes, so I'm just gonna give it 1 more minute because, like my mom said, I forgot to preheat the oven, the pan. So while that is going, I'm just gonna turn on this. Okay, so the blend of spices that I told you about earlier before, I'm gonna tell you what's in it now, and that is half a teaspoon of ground mustard, 3/4 of a teaspoon of onion powder, half a teaspoon of garlic powder, half a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of adobo, half a teaspoon of black pepper, and lastly, half a teaspoon of paprika. And all of that is in the spice blend. So I left it on the computer instead of printing it because I'm trying to save paper. So it's been 3 minutes, and I'm just going to flip over my burgers with my spatula. And as you can see, they are brown on the side that is cooked. So for this side, I'm just going to cook it for 2 minutes, 2 more minutes. So when this clock says 5:49, I'm gonna flip it.
You're gonna take it out.
Well, I'm not gonna flip it. I'm just gonna take it out and put it on this plate right here. And then I'm gonna put these on. And I have 9.
Okay, why don't you tell them what you did to the bottom of that pan while they're waiting?
So while these are cooking, I'm gonna tell you what I did. So these slider rolls didn't come sliced. So I just put my hand on top and I cut it all at one time. And I also put butter at the bottom of the pan to make sure that the buns don't stick. If you don't want to use butter, I think you can use parchment paper as well so that it comes out easier. So we have 1 more minute for this to fully cook, or for me to take it out. So we're just gonna wait a little bit.
Hannah, why don't you talk about some other ways, like some other meats you can make burgers with?
So if you don't want to use beef, you could use turkey or chicken, like ground turkey or ground chicken, because I think that would taste good too. But I'm gonna use beef today because I like beef. Okay, so it's now 5:49, and I'm just gonna check that all my burgers are brown on the outside. So this one is done. So I'm just gonna use my finger to kind of help. Okay. So these are not fully brown. I almost dropped the pan because you could kind of see it right there that they're not fully cooked. So while those are finishing up, I'm just gonna add in some more patties. I'm gonna put the ones that are semi-cooked on one side, and I'm gonna put the ones that aren't cooked at all on the other side. So once these 3 come off, I'm gonna put these 3 on.
You can put 2 more, Hannah.
Okay.
That was a really small one. Yeah. But,
The last one. Okay, so I put all of them on my mom's help. So I'm just gonna put this in the sink and wash my hands one more time.
and the spatula, because I touched the raw meat with it.
Okay. And the spatula because my mom touched the raw meat. So just gonna take the sponge and wash this. Just put that there, and then I'm gonna wash my hands now. Just gonna dry down the spatula. So I'm just gonna take out the first batch now. That's one. And I'm just gonna spread these ones out, and I'm gonna flip them. And I'm using my finger to kind of help. I'm just gonna take I'm just gonna take the paper towel and wipe my hand down. So while these are cooking, I'm gonna melt my butter. And
Hannah, why are you melting the butter?
so that I could kind of spread it on top. Brush it on top so that I can have a sesame seed bun, because when we went to the store they didn't have slider buns that already had sesame seeds. So I figured I could just brush butter on it and put some sesame seeds. So I'm just taking the bread and I'm gonna put it on a plate. And I'm gonna take my cheese and I'm gonna sprinkle it on. If you don't have, so in my house, I know I was saying something, but it didn't sound right in my head, so I just said something else. If you don't have, whatever you have in your house, like whatever cheese you have in your house, you could use, but we only had shredded cheese, so that's all I'm gonna use. I'm the only one in my family that doesn't want cheese, so I'm not gonna put cheese on these three. But I am going to put cheese for the rest. And so we have 4 people in my family. And so that's 3 for my mom, 3 for my dad, 3 for my brother, and 3 for me.
Can you explain how you cut the bread
So
and why you did it that way?
I cut the bread by placing my hand on this and like slicing.
On the top of the buns.
Yeah, on the top of the buns. And took a knife and sliced it because it didn't come pre-sliced.
Okay.
So,
do you think your
yeah,
these are done?
These are done now.
So you're gonna turn off the fire?
Yeah. And my butter is also done. So I'm gonna turn off that fire as well. And then I'm just going to
Put them on the.
yeah. I was just so I'm gonna put them on the bottom of the buns. I don't think this one is fully cooked because there's still a little bit of pink.
But aren't we gonna bake it?
Well, yeah. So I'm just taking them.
So the really cool part of the way Hannah sliced her bun is that being that we only have shredded cheese, it's okay if like the cheese gets all over the place because the buns are still connected to each other, so it won't fall out. And then you kind of get a really cheesy burger for those of you that want it cheesy.
Yeah. Okay, so I have 2 leftover patties that if anybody wants them, they could just eat it like that.
Put this back on.
Okay, so
Do you want more cheese for the people that want
Yeah.
cheese?
so
So
I'll just put some more cheese on top of the burgers for those people like my mom, my dad, and my brother.
Hannah, you could just scatter it on because the bread is connected, so you don't have to worry.
Yeah. I'll just use it out. Okay. So now that the cheese is done, I'm going to take the top of my bun and I'm just going to slide it back on. It's okay if it splits in half, as long as it's still connected. So I'm gonna take some of my butter. I'm gonna dip the brush in, and then I'm just going to.
Why don't you bring the butter closer so it doesn't drip on the stove?
So I'll just hold the butter in my hand, so like my mom said, it doesn't drip on the stove. And then I'm just brushing it on top so that the sesame seeds will stick. And I'm just going down. And because the bread did split, I'm doing 2 at a time. Okay, and then I'm just gonna go across one more time. Okay, so I still have a little bit more butter, but it's okay. Thank you for opening this. So I'm just gonna sprinkle some sesame seeds all over. So that we could still have sesame seed buns. So now that the sesame seeds are on my buns, this is what it looks like. They look good. I don't want to eat it now, but I want the cheese to melt for everybody else. So I'm just gonna put it in the oven for 20 minutes, and I'll see you guys when it's done. So hey guys, the sliders are done, and this is what they look like. They look really good, if you ask me. I can't wait to try them. But now let's talk about the Bible verse. And today's Bible verse is Romans 12:20, and it says, "On the contrary, if your enemy is hungry, feed him. If he is thirsty, give him something to drink. In doing this, you will heap burning coals on his head." Wow, talk about a way to get back at someone you are really mad at. Don't worry, you cannot actually heap burning coals on your enemy's head by being kind to them. I think what this verse is saying is that you will make your enemy think about what they are doing, and it will bother them that they are mean to someone who is being kind to them. I know it is difficult to be kind to someone who is mean to you. Trust me, I have a 13-year-old brother, and I know what it feels like to strongly dislike somebody. I have definitely lost my cool more than a few times, but I have also been able to show kindness when others have not. I notice that when I show kindness, it softens others and makes them want to compromise or be kinder. I know it works like that when I am being unreasonable and someone tells me in a kind way to think about things differently. I feel convicted to try my best to be accommodating when others are showing me kindness. This verse may sound very harsh, but I think when we look at it a little deeper, we realize that burning coals are symbolic of knowledge or an awareness you did not have before. The only way to combat hate is with love, kind of like fire and ice. They're totally opposites and neutralize each other. So when you are feeling angry or like you want to get even, take a deep breath. and think about all the times God showed you grace and was patient and kind to you. These sliders could be the perfect little peace offering if you need a little inspiration. Hope you enjoyed watching me make these sliders and give them a chance. And also, try to give your enemy a chance. May God bless you until next time and always. I'm Hannah J. See you Saturday.